My passion is harnessing the creativity and potential of the youth generation. We're 2 billion strong, and I really believe that we're a change generation. We are at a cusp right now where, although there's a lot of inequalities and change happening in the workforce, we're also at a time where there's more resource and access for individuals to grow their skills and solve the challenges they see in the community with the right support systems. At the age of 19, I started my first business. It started in helping my peers solve local issues as young entrepreneurs and coaching them. But I soon learned that as much as I could help my peers on the right path, unless I worked with public and private sector to actually do systemic change and address these barriers that youth were facing, that we wouldn't actually be able to bridge the gap. When we look at reducing inequalities through youth entrepreneurship, we first have to understand the landscape that we're facing when we're looking at the future of work. 40 million young people enter the workforce every year, many of them already without the skills that they need to actually get the jobs. The reason being is education can't keep up with the rapid pace that the workplaces and the economies are changing. So we're entering an era where upskilling and reskilling is crucial. But when we look at this issue, we often look at it from the lens that only young people are affected. So we have a lot of executives that turn their backs and say, I don't need to worry about that. But the challenge that we're facing with the fourth industrial revolution is it's not just those entering the workforce that are going to be affected. Those in the workforce are going to be affected. Management is going to be affected. And because of that, everyone is moving towards a generation of lifelong learning. The challenge is right now we can't really track or evaluate lifelong learning because experiences are quite subjective. What I might do and what you might do, although we may be doing similar skills, it's comparing apples and oranges. You can't really measure and evaluate one person's experience and life experience and skills versus another without that regulating body like we have in formal education. So my passion is solving that gap by creating a system that standardizes the assessment of skill development outside a formal classroom and workplace settings. By doing that, we're able to create a system to upskill and reskill on our own initiative, which is free and accessible to all, leading to free access to education to those who need it, and reducing inequalities not just for those in the workplace, but more importantly, also those who have barriers to access to the workplace to begin with. By being able to demonstrate our applied skills and life experiences, we're able to bring more to the table and show our more holistic self. Work readiness, the ability to take initiative, take responsibility, and learn and adapt. Soft skills. Because unlike hard skills, these are things that cannot be replaced by machines as easily as the hard skills that we're learning right now in school. And more importantly, entrepreneurship. Because if we don't have jobs, we can create jobs for ourselves. And that's really what I hope everyone can take away from this is it's really about taking initiative to solve the challenges you face. And when you see a problem, don't think someone better fix that. Instead, consider how can I fix that? For anyone who's watching this who's a young entrepreneur, someone who's just thinking about it but doesn't feel like they have what it takes to be an entrepreneur. I haven't heard yet the stories of all of my colleagues here on the panel, but I would anticipate that many of them would probably tell you a story that they didn't necessarily anticipate becoming an entrepreneur right away, or their journey to entrepreneurship was very organic or unexpected. Because most entrepreneurs don't actually consciously say, I'm growing up and being an entrepreneur. We find problems and we take the attitude that who better else to solve them than ourselves? If no one else is going to do it, we can. And we take the initiative to try and find a solution. And through that journey, we end up developing into who we are today and along the way getting a slew of different skills that you probably didn't ever anticipate ever having to take on these roles. I started to go to school for biomedical science, completely different. Those real-world experiences prepare you for the future better than anything else. I see a lot right now when we look at programs that are looking to address entrepreneurship, and I would definitely say there isn't a lack of initiatives looking at youth entrepreneurs. I think it's really where we focus. There's a lot of initiatives that focus on ideation, on starting up an idea. And I really believe, and from my personal experience, the challenge isn't so much coming up with the ideas. It's more so on the what's next, on the implementation and the scaling of an idea, and the guidance, the mentorship, and the culture. I would actually challenge you not to look at an industry, tech, blockchain, these things that we're talking about, AI. That is not the solution. They are tools to innovation. I challenge you and encourage you to find a problem you're passionate about solving. The industry will show itself based on the tools that you need to solve that problem. There's barriers regardless of where you come from. As an entrepreneur, your job is to innovate beyond those barriers. You're already trying to solve a problem and create a new path for yourself, and you really need to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one else will. And I think as soon as you find the strength and understanding that you're worthy and what you're doing is worthy, other people do see that as well. And that's kind of the start to really overcoming some of those barriers.